Satoshi releasing the protocol created the black hole, and it's a small black hole.
Yes.
Yeah, that Hal discovered.
Yeah.
And then a few others discovered. But the black hole is for me, it has its event horizon. Most people, when they crossed it, they don't leave. You're in, I'm in, Danny's in, Jeremy's in, we're in. But we have to cross the event horizon. And I think we kind of skirt around the edge of it a little bit to begin with. Or we see the black hole. We're like, I'm not going to go near that shit. I don't know what the fuck that's all about.
Yeah, well, I think that, we can extend the metaphor pretty far and
Massive.
say, that let's just say that we're on Earth and we've got a telescope and we're looking up at the sky. And we don't see the black hole at first. All we see is an absence. And we go through this sort of this astronomy phase where we're comfortable where we are. We're looking up. We're curious. We're not sure what's out there. And the black hole is not the obvious point. You go and you look at the brightest star. You go and look at the nearest planet. You go and look at all these other things that are very apparent to the naked eye. And at the beginning, the black hole is just an absence. And then the absence gets very interesting over time. And you've got to keep looking, but you've got to engage with this new behavior, which is looking up at the sky, which is thinking about what does it mean to be an owner of my financial future? What does it mean to think about my time and think about my life in a critical way that lets me have a better outcome? And maybe that starts with me saying, best thing I can do is invest in the S&P 500 in my 401k. That's like the first, that's the baby step that is sane and rational and validated through my social environment and supported by my employer. And it's a way for me to take ownership of my future because one day I want to retire. So, you look up and you see Mars. But over there, further away is the absence in the sky. And over time, some people will get pulled to that place that isn't the easy, close, bright one. It's the further, less obvious absence that ends up becoming the most important force of nature in the broader universe.
I like the idea of the singularity as well, because in my mind, Bitcoin eats everything eventually. And we're seeing that. I've talked about it on the show a lot. We have our Bitcoin, I'm going to kind of end up quoting Donald Rumsfeld here, but we have our known knowns.
Yeah.
Our unknown knowns or known unknowns and our unknown unknowns. So our known knowns right now is the best form of money. It's 21 million hard cap. It's censorship resistant. It's permissionless.
Yes.
No one can fuck with my Bitcoin. My known knowns, I learned that very on. It's the unknown unknowns. The first most important one for me is everything that's happening with mining. Everything we've talked about in our previous shows, what they're doing down at ERCOT, what's happening when you're talking about given the ability to build out energy infrastructure because miners can take off the excess load. It's the ability to use gas flaring to protect the environment. There is, again, I have to refer back to Hal. Apart from Hal tweeting out like 12 years ago, I wonder what Bitcoin mining can do for the environment, which is fucking weird, man. Time traveler. Apart from that, like generally speaking, 4 years ago, nobody was talking about this shit. I didn't hear it. And now it's all happening. And there's going to be other things like that. That's the unknown unknowns. But the singularity is at the point where it's eating everything. It's eating every industry. It's the Bitcoin standard. Everything is, well, Bitcoin is a unit account for everything.
Yeah, I think that's where that is certainly the potential that it has for all of us. I'm always hesitant to try to explain how a big system is going to behave. I'm not a macro guy. I'm just one person making their own decisions day in and day out. And so the questions I ask myself around this are, what else would I rather own? What else would I rather be using? I'm very hesitant to say that there's anything else that I'm interested in owning other than, working hard on the business and being exposed to the business and also owning Bitcoin. Because the reason being is that we are going through, and when we talk about the black hole, I think about the expansion of the black hole as the monetization event of the asset.
Mm-hmm.
And that we are going through this period of time where many other things are going to get demonetized and Bitcoin is going to get fully monetized. And what I mean by that is that right now, a bunch of these other asset classes are getting a monetary premium assigned to them because global inflation is so insidious and so broad and so large. And so it's better to own your house than it is to hold cash. Or it's better to own bonds or stocks than it is to hold cash. And if you look, historically, that's not really how, mature, harder moneyed economies functioned. And we're going to get the pushback and say, well, but this economy is so much better than every other economy ever in human history. And we can debate that. But I think that what's important is to understand is that the monetary premium that's been spread across all of these other asset classes are going to get pulled into Bitcoin over some period of reasonable time. And it's just because, if imagine that you have a newborn today and you want to save for their college education. What do you recommend buying for the next 18 years before that newborn is ready to go off to college?
I mean, it depends on the person. I mean, I know what I would do, but I know I'd advise my brother. And there's slightly different things. What I would do, I'm a Bitcoiner. I should fucking buy Bitcoin. I know in 18 years, I don't have to put as much by. I know, say you have to save $200,000 for college education, right? You've actually got to save more. Because in 18 years' time, if you have continual debasement of a 2 to 5% a year, I don't know what that works out. Does that work out at 300,000? Does that work out at 400,000? But you're constantly chasing. Whereas I know if I put $200,000 of Bitcoin buy now, I'm going to have a surplus.
Exactly.
But if it's my brother, I'd probably go, I don't want to give you wrong advice in case something goes wrong. Go a third Bitcoin, go a third gold, go a third cash. But I know what I do.
And this is the point, is that what Bitcoin does is it lets individuals extend their time preference horizon with a higher degree of certainty than anything else available to them today.
That's because around the event horizon, we have time dilation.
Exactly. Time plays differently in Bitcoin world than it does in the rest of the world. And that's by design. That's because we have proof of work and the difficulty adjustment allowing for the time dilation to take place as the center of mass continues to grow. And so with each additional cycle, each round of expansion of that center of mass, more of the monetization across the rest of the world's assets get pulled in, and the opportunity to pull in the next incremental asset goes up.